arpsangut khina na pomeglea kibali police po Karnataka Chikaballapura district kibalawan pai no menta kasngi ka artri uno pra po shilong kumtana kaleng ka directorate jangka social welfare lapliang sobai kiti ki arpsangut khina kibalawan pai hakani kasngi ladan rukokong Camelia Dorin lingwa director jangka social welfare chairperson jangka SCPCR kong agatha sangma kabi nautach DCPO Chikaballapura ladan rukhimi kpa jingki arpsangut khina kipana ki district paper
who are present here today. We have officials from Chikaballapur, Karnataka, headed by Srimati B. Nautach, DCPO Chikaballapur, Superintendent Children's Homes, Girls Shillong, and police officials who, under their supervision and coordination, we were able to bring back our children safe and sound to our state. The department will always be indebted for the constant support and that we have been receiving from the day one till today. Now I humbly request Srimati.
Pleasure, joy that our former MP, Madam Agatha K. Sangma, is with us here. Ever since she joined, Ma'am has taken the course of protection of child's rights very passionately. And in fact, under her leadership as chairperson, she has also called for quite a few reviews, and there will be some outcomes from which the Office of the Chairperson of Protection of Child's Rights in these coming days, Ma'am will be issuing some of these outcomes from her sitting in the chair at during this season. And we are gathered here today, it's because of humane individuals. The plight of these children, there are about 24 of them, and their ages range from 8 to 13 years old, in the name of education, wanting the best for the children. The mothers, the fathers have given them to the care of people outside the state to take care. But the Karnataka government found out that the condition in which they were housed in was not up to the standard for the care of children, the hygiene and the conditions, and because of this they have written to the Meghalaya government. And for this we are very, very grateful to the High Court of Meghalaya, because all these have legal implications. And because of that, even the safety, the security, and the mental well-being and health of each and every precious soul, every precious child was taken into consideration. So for this also, we are very grateful to the Government of India for the integrated child protection services, of which the Meghalaya government has with us 600 personnel, of which 12 are our district child protection officers. I've requested them to sit right in front because it's through their collaboration with our chairperson, who are also our retired additional assistant deputy director of social welfare. They are now functioning as chairperson of Children Welfare Committee. So right now these children are categorized as children in need of care and protection. In the name of getting better facilities, the parents have taken a risk and on a trust factor have entrusted them to an organization which had not been registered legally in the district from which they have taken these children from and outside the state.
Madam B. Nautach, DCPO of Chikaballapur, Madam Gayatri Devi, who is a superintendent of the girls' home, Madam Meghna and Madam Jayashree, who are the women police constables, who have come all the way from Karnataka, and all the officers who are present here from different departments, social welfare, and from the has blessed us with this wonderful opportunity where we could welcome the children back, the 24 children back from Karnataka safely. And they have come here safely and they are healthy. And I'm so grateful to all the people who are involved, all the departments who are involved, both from the state of Karnataka and Meghalaya, who made it possible for these children to reach home safely. So first of all, I welcome the children and I want to extend my gratitude to everybody involved in ensuring that our children could come back home safely. Secondly, I would like to also say that these incidences are becoming very, very frequent. Couple of months ago, we were all gathered here with a similar incident where we were receiving children who were taken away from our state in an illegal manner, because it wasn't done in a proper way and it wasn't done by an organization that is operating legally. So I think that it's really time for us to take note of this and see that these kind of incidences do not take place ever again in our state. Now, to ensure that something like that does not happen again, we as a commission, the SCPCR, have also written to our Honorable Chief Minister about creating a standard operating procedure. And this was done after we had a stakeholders meeting a couple of months ago, where we called members from different departments, officers from different departments like the law, social welfare, education, health, police. We all came together and some suggestions were made in that stakeholders meet. Thereafter, we created a sort of a note which was sent to our Honorable Chief Minister, and we gave certain elements that could be incorporated into these SOPs, which is basically the purpose is that we ensure that our children go safely to these places and institutions, and it would be done in a more transparent manner and in a more coordinated manner. And this SOP would really be operating, or it would be targeting only children below the age of 18. So in this category, as we can see, most of the children are between the age of 8 to 13. So it would apply to these children as well. We also said that when these SOPs will be created, we should have pre-information before departure that would be given to the DCPOs, so that when a child is being sent, these children, their basic information, their basic biodata, which institute they are being sent to, and the legal, whether the organization or whether the school or institute they are being sent to, is it a legally operational institute? That should also be verified by the state government. We also talked about, we also talked about creating like I said. Then the purpose and the duration of the travel and the stay of the students. So are they going for a period of 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? That should also be specified. So these were certain things that we had requested the government to look into. A compulsory health checkup should be done, for the medical checkup should be done for these children before they go. Because sometimes there are some students who have a very, dangerous medical condition, and they could be sent to a different state and they may not get the medical care that they require. So to ensure that all these children are in a healthy state before they are being sent. Then we also asked the SOP to incorporate that whenever the child is being finally sent, a monitoring should be done by the state government, and a coordination should be done with the state of the counterpart state where the child is being sent. So the DCPO of our state will be in coordination with the DCPO of that state to ensure that we know where our children are, what kind of institute they are in, and what kind of conditions they are living in. Currently, there is no such mechanism, and therefore incidences like this have happened. We also requested our Honorable CM and the government that organizations that are sending children like this to various other states should also be operating legally. I'm very sorry to say this current organization, which is called the Les Saint-Cher, is mentioned here in the write-up as well. they are also responsible for sending the previous children out of our state. And you must be remembering the incident where 2 children were poisoned and they succumbed to it. So, when we know that organizations are sending children, those organizations should be legally operating. They should be registered.
Karnataka children's law. Okay. But not the other state. So these children mainly the problem was with their food and with their language, and also by the language differences they used to like writing types they used to do other children's. This was the thing happening.
Okay. In this hostel, it was from nursery till 10th, or how is the system there? It's
Below 18 years now.
below 18 years. Also, I wanted to find out, were these children, they had any bruises, or were they brutally beaten? No. Okay, and they're mainly all female?
Yes, all females.
Living. Can you tell us more about that?
We got a distress call from Child Helpline 1098 by the local aids people saying that the children were not able to understand the language. They were being admitted to the government school which teaches Kannada language of all the subjects, and they were not able to adjust with the food. They used to cook once in 5 days. Okay, that was being served for the children, and there was no proper hygiene also. The water they had to get from the river and they have to drink it. Okay, they should not waste the food. If the food is thrown in the dustbin, they have to eat from the dustbin. Like this much severe condition was this going on. Even if they don't eat, they used to beat them. So we have filed an FIR on the warden and also the institution, and also on the person who took the children from here to there, on the leave of providing the best education for them and betraying the trust of the parents.
What is the name of that organization, madam?
There in Bagipalli is the name of Aim for Seva.
This year, these 24 children. Do you feel that there are more organizations who are running something like this, who are, taking advantage of parents who are looking for good education for their children?
Well, there could be, but we don't have a list as such. But most of the times that we have received it is through the Les Sencher Cultural Society. So this is one organization that is definitely operating illegally and has been sending children in these kind of conditions.
Can you give the office bearers of that organization?
We have, I'll give it to you. I mean, we have some letters and some, communications that we've made, and most of the times they have refused to give us any answer because they say that they are not an organization. So they are only helping children, but it is not a, organization.
Who's running it? Who's running it? Like obviously some people are there.
There are people who we have met, and like I said, I'm not at a place where I can disclose names right now, but whatever action has to be taken will be taken from the SP's office.
Ma'am, now
what happens?
Have you blacklisted the organization?
Yes, the DC has given an order to, stop the organization from functioning. So now they cannot function as an organization anymore. There's an official letter that has been issued to that organization.
Ma'am, now what happens to these children about their education? How is
the education, as Madam Lingua was also mentioning, we have decided that they will get incorporated into the coming new, the academic session, and the government and the social welfare department will be looking into it to ensure that they don't get disrupted.
Is not exposing that all is not well in Meghalaya's education scenario, because you have to.
This is definitely a concern where yes, maybe children, feel the need to go to another state in order to find education. But as we can see that most of these organizations taking these children are not even taking them to any better institute as such. They are being, it's like a hoax. It's actually being manipulated, and you're not really providing them with any better education than what is already in existence. And government of Meghalaya has been doing a lot of work to ensure that elementary schools, government schools get upgraded.
And the children have to pay any fees for going to those?
Only for travel. They took money for the flight ticket or the travel charges. The rest of it was supposed to be free.